squirt. Let's see if your friends will come join us. Hey, Layla. Come on, girl. Come on, Pibbart's excited to see you. Layla. Layla. Come on, Layla. 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 Hi, pretty bird. Hi, pretty bird. Come on, Layla. That girl loves foraging. Hi, pretty bird. Watch how happy he is. Watch. Yum. He's so excited that I'm bringing food. Yes. Num. Num. Is that your nums? Hi, babies. Come on, Blue. Wait for the other girls get here. Yes, they are. Everybody seems to be doing good. The worming ended up working out great. On the, let's see. On the 24th. You guys are all so excited. My goodness. It's not my fault you guys run to the back every morning and rarely ever eat breakfast. Goofballs. They just, y'all gotta keep in mind, they just love the grain. Come on, babies. Come on. Come on. Come on. Let's go use that little thing that your friend sent you. Come on. Let's go use your feeder. Layla. Come on, babies. Come on, babies. Layla. Come on, babies. Come on, babies. Dino. Come on, babies. We're losing part of your gaggle. You want the food. I am trying to teach them to eat from their new little platform that they got sent by one of our viewers. Hey, that's not nice. You okay, girl? You okay, girl? Hey, don't be a butt. Don't be a butt. You guys are a team. Come on, babies. Let's go. Come on. Layla. Come on, babies. Come on. Come on, babies. Come on. Come on, babies. Watch out not to walk backwards into the pond. Come on. Here, let's go this way. Gotta go over to your little feeding tray. Hi, babies. Ooh. It's been raining a lot down here in Texas, so we're going to freezing temperatures overnight, but throughout the day, today it's in like the high 50s. It's supposed to be in the low 60s tomorrow. Something went swimming right there. Anyway, they got this cute little feeding tray right here now. They got it from one of our viewers. He sent it in for us. A friend to all geese. Paul sent this for the birdies. And I am using it to teach them to eat on water. There you go. There you go. Let everybody get to it. Watch out, Layla. I'm trying to push it out, girl. It's got a little weight at the bottom to anchor it down. There you go. There you go. See, they love it. Yeah, Pip-Art would beat some people up if I did that. Now, here's the thing. If I had a bunch of little cacklings, maybe. But the thing is, too, that, like, you can't really guarantee that other people won't, like, throw something at them or hurt them in some way. And a lot of people are scared of geese. So, I don't know. Thought about it before, but there are different possibilities of things that could potentially go wrong, and not sure how I feel about it. Hey, your sassiness came back, huh? Good bird. Be nice. He hates being touched right now. He doesn't want to be petted. Not really. It's getting close to mating season, and he's becoming more territorial, protective, much more sensitive. His hormones are going crazy. And he feels as though he has to prove something now. Because, well, he wants the females to... Layla, you're dumping the food, girl. Messy butts. Hey, Charlie. Why are you shooing him away? Well, geese and swans are two different species. Which I don't say this to be ridiculous or something, because not everybody knows it. There are different kinds of waterfowl. You know, just like ducks are different from geese. Geese are different from swans. I don't know a lot about swans, to be honest. Hey, Squirt. Hey, go, girl. But, swans have different territorial behaviors. I think they, I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe that more of their diet comes from the water than goose diet does, as in like more of the vegetation from water. I'm not sure if they're completely herbivores. I don't know a lot about swans, but I do know that swans, geese, and ducks are all different, very different from each other. And their temperaments are different, their dietary needs are different. Of course, their appearance is different. There's several different things. Now, this doesn't mean that you can't have swans with geese. You totally can. I would absolutely love to have a pair of black swans on my pond. Absolutely would love that. A couple of swans. Beautiful. I would love to raise up some cygnets. Cygnets are the babies of swans. So the baby swan is called a cygnet. A baby goose is called a gosling. Hey, leave the crawfish alone. Anyway, it's like a baby duck is called a duckling. It's kind of funny how a goose, gosling, duck, duckling, but then for swans we use the term cygnet. But, yeah. I don't really know a whole lot about swans to be able to tell you a lot of differences, a lot of details. I mean, in some ways, I feel like swans are very similar to geese. They mate for life. They're very loyal. They imprint. They're waterfowl. They're significantly larger, of course, and other things that are. But those are all things that are pretty darn obvious. But that it's like some. You see that? Splashing in the water there. Right there. There you go. See? Paul knows. There you go, Paul. Look. They're eating from the tray you send. They're learning. They dump it sometimes, but they're getting there. I haven't attached the other attachment to it yet that I plan to put on there to make it taller on the edges, but they're loving it, as you can see. Once the if the pond goes back down again in the future, what I plan to do actually is to attach this in between this post and that post so that it's like between the two. Have a string from the in-between attachment to the thing, right? Maybe. I don't know yet. But again, just now saying it, I'm realizing that that probably wouldn't work because of the string going too far and probably getting in their way, and I don't want to get them tangled. Anyways, I'm still figuring out if I want to leave it over here, if I'm going to put it somewhere else. I weighed it down with a bottle that I put a bunch of... Oh, yeah. That's another thing I plan to do. I want to get trail cams, but... It's one of those things that's on the list of things. Yeah. But the way I weighed it down, I figured you might find it funny. I used a plastic bottle. I filled it with rocks from our driveway, and then I filled it with water. And there's a random piece of trash, which is not from that. I hate that. Anyway, I filled it with rocks, water, and that's what's like anchoring it down right here. And then something similar to I forgot the number, whatever cord, similar string. But and then I have a little anchor here that I put into the ground. One of these babies, that are often used for like dog leashes and stuff, or to tie down stuff. Anyway, that holds it in place for now. This is just me rigging it for now until I can buy better stuff. But where you guys going? Excuse you. Where are you going? Right? No, they like it, as you can see. Stubborn little butts are causing me problems lately. At night, they don't want to come home. They want to stay on the water. It's frustrating. But Bert, no attitude. And I don't know if it's the geese that made this pathway hanging out back here. But if not, then something big has been coming over to the pond to drink at night. You see that? Big old pathway. And I know it wasn't me. And there's another one that goes right here. You can see something's pushing through. I know the geese use this area to come up. Right here, underneath the log. And I know they use this ramp right here. Well, not ramp, but this area. Come on, Squirt. Come on, Squirt. Hey, baby. Come on, cutie pie. Hey, Peach. You beat up Squirt, we're going to have problems. There you go. Num, num, num. Yes, buddy. It's the golden hour, guys. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Blue. Here you go, Blue. Hi, Pete. Yes, Charlie. What you looking at, Charlie? What is it? It is a pretty awesome pond. It's not the biggest one, but it's big in my opinion. I know it's not huge, but look at that. Yeah, leave Blue alone. Blue, here. Blue, come here. Come here, Blue. Come on, Blue. Come on, I know you want it. Come on, girl. Get your num-nums. Get your num-nums, Blue. Look at that for sunlight. I've not seen it. I've not seen the Disneyland Sky Parade thingies. Most of the stuff I watch is about animals. Yep. That's what I'm thinking too, especially since, see, the pathway that goes behind our property right here, right? Guys, this is like acres upon acres, like hundreds, if not thousands of acres of land. That's with random houses, farms, and stuff like that all over the place, right? So, like, we're out in the country. Yes, these properties are not huge. These are about, in average, each property is somewhere around 3 to like 10 acres with the occasional 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 acre property in between. So like, but they're all larger properties, right? And these are all country homes, like farms, homesteads, just land, you know, depending on how the people utilize it. But our neighboring property, and this is where my concern comes in. I think Simba found a mouse hole or a rabbit hole. And he's waiting for something to come out. Oh yeah, that looks like a rabbit hole. That's a rabbit hole. You better leave them rabbits alone. You better leave them rabbits alone. We're gonna have problems there, buddy. Come on, Simba. Simba. I'm gonna peek in there in a minute and see if there's anything in there so I can cover it up if there is. But the point I was gonna make was that right here, our neighboring property has all these trees that give perfect cover for predators. This is not a super huge property either. It's almost identical to ours, maybe a little bit bigger, somewhere like a few acres, but the back here is not used. This belongs to an older gentleman, to an old vet actually, and the back of the property is not used. And my concern is that between this property and the next property over, there's somebody that's running a big old like chicken operation. No idea if it's a business or not, but it sounds like it's a lot of chickens. And then behind us we got the cows, right there in the distance. And then on this side we've got horses, which is our other neighbor's property. But all in between we got all this country, right? And because we have such a variety of animals out here, my concern is that there's a variety of predators that could potentially come out here. And every so many properties, like every few properties, there is a property that has a natural body of water or a man-made body of water, right? Just like we have. And I can hear sometimes sounds coming from out there. Like, not that long ago, a couple months ago, I was walking down here and probably right around over there where you see that like piece of meadow there. And I could swear I could hear a bobcat kitten. Like, I'm not even joking. It was like that very distinct, high-pitched, growly little bobcat kitten sound. And it was just crying up a storm. I decided to leave it alone and not try and go look for it because, well, I don't want to get in the hairs with a bobcat. And I figured Mama might have left it behind for some reason, you know. But this was like afternoon, and I waited a couple hours, went and checked again, multiple times actually, never heard it again. And of course, I'm hoping that Mama came and got it. But apparently, farmers around here do see bobcats fairly often. And even though online it says that we don't have mountain lions around here, every single farmer I have met in this area, every homesteader, every neighbor, everyone swears up and down they see mountain lions around here. That there are mountain lions attacks. There are people talking about it on the internet for our area. Like, they're like, no, there's obvious signs of mountain lion attacks. Like, you know, like when you have like a calf or something attacked and it's got like the very distinct like claw marks on the back of their hind legs, on their hips, things like that, or bite wounds that are like just very distinct, like too big to be a bobcat. So, and actually, if you look it up, North Texas, a lot of what Google will say is that we haven't really had a whole lot of mountain lions around here. But the people around here who raise things like goats and sheep, Layla, there's literally a pathway to your left and to your right. What are you doing, girl? It's gonna shove your way through, huh? Layla. Dork. And Joshua, if I have a minute, I might look it up. See what it is. But yeah, I 100% want to get trail cam. I've done some research on it, and a lot of people are saying that like, because I was looking at different brands and different versions of it, and there are some of them that like will connect to your phone, but then you have to buy Wi-Fi for them, which like out in the country is really fickle, like, what's it called, fickle or whatever. Like, it's not guaranteed that you're actually gonna get a signal. And I mean, you guys have seen it with my phone, with my streams. Like, my streams are not always gonna be perfect because I'm out in the country. And so I love this. Look, watch. Sunset goosies in the water. Didn't with the 500 drone, didn't Dallas do that on New Year's? And did the like last 100 years or something with the drones? Anyway, though, I did my research on the drones, and I was looking at different price range drones. Darn it, not drones. Trail cams. I did my research on the trail cams, and I was looking. Hi, pretty bird. And yeah, they apparently, Paul, they're making like new ones. Like the newest ones. They're literally like data, and like you have to buy data for them, but you can immediately connect to them. So you can like wirelessly like connect them and like have it downloaded to your phone immediately and like be notified if something's going on. But they basically explained that like, what is that? Did you find trash? Give me that. Leave it alone. But unless you hi. Unless you're a hunter and like you know for sure you have the cell data, like the reception out there, and you can afford it, because apparently those are expensive, but they're also not very reliable according to a lot of the reviews coming in. And look at them foraging. They're all lined up, guys. Look. Everyone's lined up perfectly. See, look at that. Poor bird. You scared him. See, now you messed it up. Anyway, apparently a lot of people are saying that they're not worth it. That like that $150 or $100 or $80, whatever they cost, it's not worth the price. And that it's better to get the one with the memory card and then just go check. And the pond is not so far away from my house where I can't hear my geese screaming. Like if they get loud, I hear them. So I know, right? Look at that. They're lining up there. Something's got to be good right there. Something's got to be tasting real good. Probably the roots. What do you want? He does this when he wants attention. What do you want, Pibbert? Pibbert, what is it? What do you want, buddy? What do you want? Pibbert, what do you want? Look, watch. This is how he gets my attention. He's always done it. What? Ever since he was a baby, he's always done this. He'll grab my shirt and he'll go yank, yank, yank. Anyway, here, Pibbert, you want some more food? Here. Put this bottle over here so I can grab it on my way over there. Throw that way. This. You want num-nums? Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You want num-nums. Come on. Let's get your num-nums. Come on. Come on, Pibbert. Yes, num-nums. What? What? Yes, you're welcome. You want me to feed you? Here. Is that better? Eat. You eat out of the bowl. No. You bite when you eat. I think so. I think he loves me. He just doesn't want to admit it. Yeah, you love me. But so I found some trail cams. Sorry, I like taking longer to say it. I'm like paying attention to my surroundings, see different things moving, and like trying to keep an eye out. And you know, you spot a dog that's like wandering off their property, and you're like, wait, what's going on there? I'm like constantly looking all over the place, and like often don't even look at my camera. And it's always been a thing, even when we didn't live out in the country, even when we lived in Arizona. If I took Pretty Bird on a walk, it's just. It's something. I think it's something my husband kind of taught me, and it just became natural because he's very hypervigilant with his PTSD, and he's always paying attention to his surroundings. And it just, after 17 years of being together, I think it just kind of like rubbed off. You know. See, look, Blue's floofy right now. There she is. That's how she's been non-stop for like a very long time, but. But it hasn't been nearly as bad as it's been for in a very long time. And she still does it a little bit once in a while, but like not the way she did before. Blue is in the very back. By the way, sorry. That's Blue. But she's also grooming right now, which is normal for them to poof up if they're doing their preening, as she is right now. Anyway, the point I was going to make about the trail cams is that I ended up finding out that for anybody who's interested in trail cams or thinking about getting trail cams, based on the research I've done so far, what I have. I think he just found some water plants. Look at that. And that right there is what they do. They get the plants out of the water. And he's eating the roots rather than the green stuff. That's funny. So he's going for the roots, not the green leaves. Anyway, sorry. See? I always get sidetracked. But I found out that apparently the trail cameras at Walmart, not I am not sponsored, none of that crazy stuff. I don't make no money off this channel whatsoever. Anyways, but apparently the trail cameras at Walmart that are like $20, $25, $29. It's right at that corner. Like they're really cheap, comparison wise. And obviously not cheap because for most of us that's a lot of money. But they're very cheap comparison wise to a lot of the trail cameras out there. They function just fine. And I watched a lot of different people on YouTube test them out, and like that were not sponsored, that were just buying them for their own personal use. Everything down to like kids who hunt or kids who like to watch wildlife, and they were showing the photos in the light and in the dark, and in all reality, they work pretty well. So the picture quality was not horrible at all. Like actually the detail on it was pretty darn good compared to like what I imagine it would be. And then when I go to like upgrade, I do want to get a trail camera that has the ability to do video, that does like the 10-second video clips, because people were saying that if you want to use a trail camera for trespassing, which is something that I want to keep in mind, I do want to use it at the back of my property to be able to, kind of keep an eye on things. If somebody does dare to come on here and mess with my birds, I want to be able to know who it was or have a chance of being able to identify them. And for those cases, a lot of people said if you're using trail cameras for trespassing purposes, don't use the ones that just take pictures, because they tend to not take pictures in time to catch their faces unless the people are looking straight at the camera. And it's rare that a person holds still and that the timing matches up perfectly. So instead, get the ones that do the 10-second video clip every so many seconds, because in those cases, you're significantly more likely to get to see their faces and then be able to just take still images from a video. So my plan right now is to start out with that really cheap one that just takes the pictures, and then upgrade to that, add that one on in the future, the one that does video capturing. I hope that makes sense. Let's see. I wonder if it counts as being piebald if it happens later in life. Pretty bird's neck feathers look very similar to some piebald canners. I know, right? I'm telling you. I really don't know what's going on with him, because he is changing. But interesting fact is that I've seen a lot of hybrids who look very similar to him, but they're wild. So nobody knows what they looked like before. And like I said before, if you just go backwards in my videos, whether it's my lives or my videos, you just go back a couple years, the difference is so significant. Like how much he's changed from then to now, it's crazy. Like he's even now gaining, I don't know if you were on the live when I showed this last time, but now the tips of his tail feathers are turning white too. Pretty bird. Come here, pretty bird. Pretty bird. Come here, buddy. See, you know your name. Come here. Yeah, hi. Hi, pretty bird. Hi. I love it when they nod at you because they're saying hi. Look at that. The tips of his feathers are now turning white. He didn't have that before. His feathers on his tail were always dark brown, almost black, right? Always just like a shade or two lighter than that of the Canada geese. Oh, are you being sweet? Hi, baby. Hi, baby. Hi, baby. You're being a good boy. You're being a good boy. Did the testosterone calm down for a minute? No? It's coming back? Is it coming back? No? People go night-night? People go night-night? You're acting like you're tired. Goofball. Anyways, well, you can see, look at all that. Yep, go ahead and nip at me. Yep. He's got all the white tips now at the tip of his feathers, his tail feathers. Never had that before. That's completely brand new. And it really has me curious what's going on. But he's about to turn 5. And I'm fascinated with how his plumage is changing over time. It just, Joshua, I don't know what that is. I'm sorry, projection mapping? I don't know. Sorry. And, yeah, there are a lot of people that will do things. And there's a lot of people who literally have a personal vendetta against geese, I swear. Like, some people I see online, the way they talk about them, and some of the reports you see of people like intentionally hitting them or like intentionally going after them. Like with that one lady, what's her name, Maria, that's dealing with it in Surfside Beach. Like, I don't know, I don't get why you would be so angry at an animal for doing what they're naturally, instinctively just doing. I get being frustrated in the moment sometimes. We all do that. Like, last night, they were being so stubborn, didn't want to come out of the water. It was taking forever. My daughter was out here with me. And then when I finally got Layla and Dino out of the water, Pretty Bird decided to have a territorial moment and went after my daughter. So now my daughter is sidetracked with holding Pretty Bird at bay while he's trying to hit her with his wings, while I am trying to keep Layla and Dino out of the water while Pretty Bird's basically freaking out. And I just gave up. I was like, you know what, I'm done. Like, we need start over. Like, just, I couldn't hold them back because they were freaking out because Pretty Bird's making all these like, I'm fighting sounds, right? And so their instincts to run to the water. So, and Pretty Bird would not stop trying to get my daughter, and it's dark. So I kind of understand. I understand why he's doing what he's doing, but it was just that moment where it was like it had already taken forever to get him out of the water. And when we finally did, he had to go and be a butt. And I was frustrated. Like, I was like, oh God, like, I need a minute. Just sit down, take 5 minutes, and we'll start over. But that stuff happens because it's not their, it's not their fault. Like, they're not maliciously attacking for no reason, even when it appears as though there's no. This is what I always say. I always say the difference between humans and animals is that humans can be bad without cause. They can be bad for malicious reasons. They can be bad for selfish reasons. Like, as in, like, in a sense of like, they're like, humans have the capability of doing horrible things just for their own, like, feeling good. It has no other purpose. Like, animals, in my opinion, don't do that. Every time an animal does something, even if we perceive it as bad, as in attacking someone, killing an animal, even when they kill livestock, right? Even if a group of coyotes takes out an entire herd of sheep but only eats one, they're practicing. A lot of times they're literally just practicing. Like, they're honing their skills of killing. Also, probably taking out all the alerting sounds and everything else that would potentially alert. That's a waterfowl. That's that crane that comes to this pond. That guy's going to be a problem when we have goslings. That guy likes to come to the pond to forage. And he has been checking. He's been checking the pond regularly, but he hasn't landed anymore since our birds hang out here. Like, he stays away because our geese are here. But he apparently has always Run, Simba! He apparently has been foraging his pond for a while. Yeah, that's the other thing I don't understand. Guess what? You're not going to change an animal's entire base instinct because you give them a little bit of food sometimes. Like, that stuff drives me nuts. Like, they're always claiming that the reason the birds are not migrating out of Surfside is because this one lady happens to give them a little bit of food sometimes. I'm like, right. So an instinct that is developed over hundreds of thousands of years for all we know, or 50,000 years, minimum several thousand years, however long geese have been around in the form that we have them now, which we all know that they've been around technically forever because they've evolved over time and changed over time regardless. An instinct that has been refined and developed over such a long time. Sure, it's going to be changed in 2, 3, 4 years of just somebody putting out a couple of grains of feed. No, residential geese usually happen because of grounded geese and climate change. If they don't have a reason to migrate, they're not gonna take that risk. Like we caused residential geese, like as in we almost caused them to go extinct, and it's literally us taking their eggs, raising them in captivity, and then setting them free in different locations all over the US, which is what we did like 70 years ago to bring them back, is how we made residential geese, because those geese were human raised and were never taught to migrate. That's why they don't leave a radius more than 100-mile radius, because they don't know how. They've never been taught. And because they were never taught, they didn't know how to teach their kids. So they still, quote unquote, migrate. They just don't migrate far. As in, they still have that instinct to go basically pond hopping instead of bar hopping, I guess. But they don't go as far because they don't know how. But a goose that knows how is going to migrate. Like, it's going to take a lot for a goose not to migrate when they know how to migrate, where to go, and they were parent raised and raised and taught to migrate, like, and shown where to go. Like, it just, I don't know. Yep. Exactly. That's exactly what I mean. Is that like they hook up with a goose that is not a migrating goose. The gander is not going to leave his goose. The only way a gander is going to leave his goose is if he's a migrating gander and she's a migrating goose, and she may have been injured. And in some instances, they will split up for him to teach the goslings how to migrate. But he will not leave her unless they had goslings to successfully raise them, and he needs to fly them out somewhere. And this is the only time this has ever been witnessed for it to happen. But other than that, if he's with a non-migrating gaggle, a non-migrating flock, then he's not going to migrate. If he moved over, that's the other thing a lot of people don't know. The males leave their family to be with the female's family. Whereas in the human world, it's vice versa usually. Well, in the past, it was vice versa. He's a friend of mine. A good person who lives in another area in the US and takes care of a bunch of geese in his area. There's a goose across from my house from Ontario, Canada. He stays here all year now because of his... Yeah. Exactly. I'm just saying that, like, also, like you said before, geese are more likely to become residential in the South, especially when we have, say, for an example, winters like this. Like, when you've got winters like this where the water doesn't freeze, there's little fishies coming around, probably benefiting, or little frogs trying to escape that have burrowed into the ground, or maybe little turtles that are in there. Anyway, there are places like this, like in northern Texas, where like it's not, or Oklahoma, where it's just not freezing crazy, and you know what I mean, the winter is super, super short, and it warms up sooner in spring. So why would they go anywhere? It makes no sense. Look at that. We still have green grass. We got a bunch of fresh grass growing everywhere. Like, things are still pretty darn green, even though the trees are all mostly naked. We still have a whole lot of green. And that's one of the things with my geese. That's why they go so crazy about the feed, because they go back here in the morning to hang out at the pond during the day. Sometimes they leave in the afternoon, but either way, They go back here, and all day long they're just foraging the pond and they're eating grass. Now, these are animals that are grain raised. So these are animals that were raised on feed, so they consider that an important part of their diet. They're used to it. But it's almost like a treat to them. It's like you have everything you absolutely need, but then like your mama makes you a nice big steak, right? You're not gonna pass up that steak. You can take that steak. Like, you'll love to eat that steak. You know what I mean? Like, but you don't necessarily need it. It's good. It tastes good, and it's some good protein. You know what I mean? Like, in that sense, like, that's kind of how the feed comes in for these, geese that are captive. Oh yeah. And that's the thing too that I noticed, that like it's like over the last few months, I swear my geese keep popping back and forth between mating instincts kicking in and not, especially my domestics, or like domestic mix, like Pretty Bird, who's like half and half. Like with Layla, she randomly, like, she seems to stay in the front a lot, like near the house. And when she's near the house, she spends a lot of time just wandering around in like the higher scrubs, areas that are more dense. I think she's looking for a nesting spot, to be honest. I genuinely believe she's looking for nesting spots. And Pretty Bird randomly goes into the whole like, oh, I want to mate, and then he'll mate her for like a day or two, and then he'll stop again. And then like the weather keeps bouncing back and forth between like, being actually pretty darn warm. Like, right now I'm outside in a sweater and I'm fine. Like, it's a little bit chilly, but not much. But it's the end of the day. It's actually been nice today. So it's like that weather does throw them off a little bit. Now, I am noticing that the Canada geese are less affected by it, but I could see how they potentially would be. Now, this is just, I have younger ones, and only 2 of my Canada geese are within potential breeding age this season. So this would be their first breeding season. And from what I hear, their first breeding season, they usually go around to breeding later in the season, when it's their first time around, like more like in April, but I'm not 100% sure. Right, Pitbird? Listen, Mama's got to go back home, and I'll be back in about an hour. You hear me? Are we going to have issues tonight? Yeah? Yeah? Okay, good to know. Hey, Bubba's. Look how much white feathers he has. It's crazy. It's crazy. You have so many white feathers around your beak now. Look at you. You've changed so much. Oh, you know what else I noticed about Pretty Bird? Just random thought. Look, he always has that patterning on his neck. The patterning, the feather pattern stuff, like the ridges, he always has that. And it's usually something that I see in a domestic geese. Anyway, it's another thing I noticed. Yeah, it would be nice to be able to set something cute up. I know, and they're much more affected by the weather changes too. So they definitely do nest earlier sometimes. I saw it real quick. I didn't read it though. I saw that, who was it? I thought Carolina Waterfowl Rescue had a gosling in, like a random gosling that was a winter hatch, like literally just like a last month's winter hatch, like a December baby. I thought they had a post, but maybe I'm mixing them up. Derp. How come Texas don't have their own nighttime parade like Disneyland has? I'm guessing because Texas is a state and Disneyland is an attraction. Like it's like a fair. You know, it's like supposed to be a magical land. So they have attractions that to entertain people because people pay to be in Disneyland, but you don't have to pay to be in Texas. You know, like Texas is just another place where people live. Plus, it costs a lot of money to do those attractions, and Disney is hella rich off of all of our gullible selves. Right? That's what I think too. Fun fact, though, is that his mama is a white Chinese. But I think that mama was carrying brown Chinese because when you look at his marking, you can see that stripe on the back of his neck. Like the way that pattern goes over his head and to the back of his neck, it's identical to that brown Chinese stripe that goes down the back of their neck. And I've always noticed that if you look closely, his feather his feather pattern and the feather shade, the color, is different between the stripe on the back of his neck when you compare it to the sides and the front. And I'm going to try to show it to you. Like you can see it, the difference, when you look for it. Hey, bird. No. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. No. And in the light, what you'll actually notice if you look at it in person is that the stripe on the back of his neck is much darker. Like it's not much darker. It's like a shade darker than the stuff that's on the side of his neck and the front of his neck. The stuff on the feathers on the side of his neck is more mixed, and then the front is more light. But he doesn't want to show you right now. And then the feathers on his forehead have gotten much lighter since he was younger. Look at this. Look at that. They turned brown. Yep, they turned brown. But you can totally see that stripe going down the back of his head. Perfectly. I always thought it was funny that he's always had some white patterning on the side there, accenting that black stripe going down, that little triangle he has there going down. I always thought that was funny. He's always had it lightly, but it's definitely like gotten more prominent over time. All right, booger. Mama's gotta go, okay? I'm taking the leftover food with me because I want you guys to listen when I call you later. There's still some food on the tray. Maybe I'll add a little bit extra. No, Fibber, it's okay. It's okay. You guys coming? Or what? You staying or you coming? Fibber's trying to get everybody to walk with us. Look, and Charlie's always right there. That's Charlie right next to him. That's good that the rehabbers took the goslings. Isn't it crazy how bonded Charlie is to Pretty Bird? She acts like she's his mate. You hear that? She's always talking to him. She still has her sights set on him. Crazy, huh? So bonded. And then Blue and Squirt will follow because Blue is bonded to Pretty Bird and Charlie. Anyways, guys, I'm going to head out. Thank you guys for watching. You have a good evening, Paul. And you have a good evening, Joshua. Yes, Disneyland is very, very rich. If you Google it on YouTube, you'll probably find a lot of info on how much money they have. Oh, Google it on YouTube. Search it on YouTube. Derp. Anyway, I hope you guys both have a good evening. And I don't know if I'll come on live tonight, but I'll see y'all either later or maybe tomorrow. I'll come live again next time I can. So, all right. Bye-bye. Good night.